Love it or hate it, shiny hunting is something you will always see, especially if most of the things you watch are Pokemon related, and I didn't really care too much about it, but eventually after seeing it for so long, I couldn't help but be curious. So one video turned into 2 and then 3 and 4, and I just fell into this rabbit hole of people shiny hunting in different games. But one thing I noticed is that I didn't see a lot of people hunting in black and white, and as a die-hard fan, I couldn't let that slide. But at the same time, I've only shiny hunted once or twice, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do it because the odds are really bad. It's like 1 in 8,192, and there really isn't a way to boost those odds as the shiny charm came in the sequels, and the only other method being the Masuda method, which most people couldn't get their hands on since getting a foreign Ditto was pretty hard. But even knowing all of that, I decided I was gonna do it anyway, because why not? My goal is to shiny hunt for 5 hours a day for a whole week to catch a yellow tympole, and what better way than to catch it on my personal 3DS that I've had for years, with one of the first games I've ever owned being Pokemon White. And this was gonna be a bit more challenging than I thought because someone thought it was a great idea to do this during the week of New Year's, and that would be me. So this didn't go as planned, so let's get started. Day 1 is the only day that went as planned, as we would be hunting in Pinwheel Forest. And one of the cool things about black and white is that they introduced dark patches of grass, meaning we can encounter 2 Pokemon at a time, and luckily for me, I just so happen to have another 3DS with a copy of Pokemon Black, so we can easily encounter 3 or 4 Pokemon at a time. And another thing I wanted to do was use a notebook and document how many encounters I actually got by using tally marks, as I just see a lot of people do this when shiny hunting, and I wanted to give it a shot. So yeah, as you can see, it was a lot. But I really can't say much happened the first day. It's not like I found anything exciting. I was just trying to get used to encountering Pokemon, but I will say I was starting to get a little delusional. I would stare at a Pokemon and just be like, I don't know, you look a little different, knowing dang well it looked exactly like that one. In the end, I did this 5 hours straight and encountered 2,015 Pokemon, and I think the hardest part is actually sitting down and doing it all in one go. Alright, so it's day 2, and this time around I actually started later than what I would have liked. It was around 7 when I started, meaning I would finish around 12 as long as I didn't do anything else, and I'm not gonna lie, I was falling asleep around 10, so I would find myself dozing off for like 10 to 15 minutes, and I would have to restart my timer. So in the end, I think I pushed it to like 1 o'clock. It also had me thinking, what if I ran into a shiny Pokemon and just didn't notice because I was dozing off? I actually think about this often. On another note, I started to notice how many Pokemon we were actually encountering after every 2 encounters, and it was surprising to me. Most of the time it was 5 or 6 Pokemon, so for the first encounter it would be 3, and then the next encounter would be 2, and vice versa. And for some reason I really thought we were gonna run into like mostly 4 Pokemon at a time. I will say it did happen occasionally, maybe just like a handful of times during the whole week. But going back to how sleepy I was, I couldn't do it, and I only ended up doing 4 hours. So now I gotta pick up the slack tomorrow, and now I have to do 6 hours. But knowing there's no way I'm gonna get it done, I come up with a plan. I'll just call off work? Come on now, it's too easy. Nah, I'm just kidding, but what I can do is shiny hunt at work. Unfortunately, I can't record it, so there's no actual footage of me doing it, but just know that I did it. But I'm getting ahead of myself, and let's move on to day 3. And no, I didn't forget about how many encounters I did, I just didn't finish my 5 hours yet. What I did forget about was that it was New Year's Eve the next day, and I was heading to my sister's house to celebrate, and I know I'm not getting anything done once I'm over there. So the plan flopped before I even started. Alright, it's day 3 and I gotta try to do as much as I can, and I ended up doing 30 minutes of hunting before work and then another 30 minutes once I got to work, and just like that I got my final hour in, and for day 2 we got 2,040 encounters. It would have been more, but when I started at work I only brought in one DS since I left the other one in the car, so I ended up cutting my encounters by half. So with that I can officially start on day 3, but unfortunately for me I got really busy, so I couldn't do any more encounters until I was on break, and that's when I started using my second DS. And yeah, I was able to get another 30 minutes. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do any more encounters, but it turns out we got to leave early. So I had a lot more time on my hands, but time was just flying by, and I was only able to do an hour 30 before heading to my sister's house. On another note, I couldn't bring my notebook to keep track of my encounters, so instead I used my calculator on my phone, and yeah, I just never went back. So coming back from my sister's house, I was surprisingly awake and did another 2 hours before calling it quits, and again I have to do 6 hours tomorrow. It's day 4 and I'm not gonna lie, I was running on fumes, mostly because I had to work this day, but it was worth it as I was able to get that last hour out the way, and for day 3 I did 2,215 encounters. I think ditching the notebook was for the best as I was able to get more encounters, and at this point I was losing hope because I have a secret. I started this a month ago. Yeah, a month ago. To be fair, it was way more casual, but I was tired of this and wanted to give it another week before I really gave up. And technically, it being day 4, I was really like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna find anything. But for the day itself, I can't say I did that much, cause I got home, took a shower, fell asleep, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. So I decided to do 2 more hours before going back to bed because I had to wake up early the next day. So it was fun to find out I have to do 8 hours this time. It's day 5 and I ended up doing my encounters really late as I had to run some errands, but I was able to finish up the rest of the hours I needed for day 4, and it finally happened. In the last minute we needed to get all 5 hours, we got a shiny, and I was losing my mind for like 3 seconds until I realized it wasn't the shiny tympole I wanted. It was the dumb bird. Oh man, I was butthurt. Not only was it a shiny I didn't want, it was on my other DS with Pokemon Black. So it's not even on the DS that I wanted. So yeah, I was a bit salty. And for day 4, we ended up with 2,489 encounters, meaning in total it took 8,779 encounters to get my first shiny in this game. And I didn't realize it at first, but we were over odds. And since I was doing this a month prior, I probably went over odds twice. Way to rub it in. But hey, at least I got something. For day 6, I actually took a break since I was doing this non-stop for 5 days in a row. But I ended up doing other things like YouTube shorts and the thumbnail for this video, which probably sucks, I'm not gonna lie. So it wasn't until day 7 that I would finally finish this up all in one go, getting a total of 2,443 encounters and ending this with no new shinies. What a bummer. I was really hoping that I was going to be able to find another shiny, but it's okay. I don't think my shiny hunting journey is ending anytime soon because I'm kind of getting addicted. So to wrap this up, I did a total of 11,202 encounters, with one shiny being a P-Dove that you can barely tell the difference from a regular one. But yeah, that's it. If you want to see more stuff like this, like the video as it really helps out the channel, and subscribe if you like my content in general. I got a lot of cool videos if you want to check them out. With that, have a great day, and until next time, see ya.